Hello and welcome to episode 17. Can you believe it? Episode 17 of Talk of the Crown. And I hope you've all had an amazing and voluptuous royal week. I know I have. It's been, there has been so much going on, which of course we will talk about straight away. If you're new to this chat, well, hello and welcome. I do these chats live at 10 o'clock every Saturday at 10 o'clock GMT. That's British time, Greenwich Mean Time, for those of you who don't know. And if you don't know when that time is for you, simply just type in UK time in Google and it will tell you how many hours ahead or behind you are so that you can work out how to see this live. If you are not seeing this live and you miss it, don't worry, you can always watch on catch up. Straight after this chat is finished, it gets put on my YouTube channel so you can always catch up. And now you can see the chat room facility too. So without further ado, I am going to go and find the chat room so that I can speak to you all. And I'm going to use my mobile phone to look at it. So let me open it all up so I can see the chat room. And I'm going to make sure that the setting is right so that I can see every single chat, because I don't want it set just to top chat. I want it on live chat so that I can see everybody. And I can see we have a chat room full. Hello to HJ London, and hello to Olivia and Wendy and Donna and Jeff and Rodney and Grace and Scott Goff and Cynthia and Dee Dee, who is in Philadelphia, and Christine and Arnold Sanders, MSNB 2012, Kathy, Cindy, Mrs. BSN, Angel, Ellen, Beth, Azure, Jojo, Candice, Banal Girl, Emmanuel, China, Alex, Deborah, Yvette, The Thingy. Who is The Thingy? I like that name. Book Princess. Kilt is here, and Rhonda, and Soil, and Darren, and Rachel, and Jason. Mate, there's so many here today. And Ken, and Danielle, and Ain't That is here, and Regina, and Shelley, and Liz, and Shining Star. Hello to all of you. Melinda, Joyce, Samantha, Julie, Diana, Joan, Countess Bavaria, and Cindy. Hello to you all. What a list. It seems like my hellos are getting longer and longer and longer. But anyway, the format is exactly the same as every single week. Let me know your royal questions and thoughts and musings, and I will try and answer as many questions as I can. If I can't get round to your question and it was really important, then please just retype it again. Hello to David Soriano Garcia, who says hello. And Debbie Debs in New York. HJ London says, I love your shirt and vest. Thank you so much. I haven't worn this shirt in a while, actually. I have worn it on a previous chat before. Rachel says, so glad to see a full chat room. It is most definitely full. Christine says, wish I had been at Wimbledon today. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of chat about Wimbledon today because we had a double Duchess solo situation with Catherine and Meghan, the Duchesses of Sussex and Cambridge, attending the Wimbledon ladies final. And of course, Meghan is a big friend of Serena Williams, who was playing. Unfortunately, Serena got beat, but anyway, and Catherine is an avid tennis watcher and tennis fan, and also attends Wimbledon almost every single year. I think she has attended every year since becoming a member of the royal family. So both ladies love their tennis. Meghan also supporting Serena, and it was lovely to see them for the first time on a solo engagement together. I mean, it wasn't a public engagement, it was more of a pleasure engagement, I suppose. Although Catherine, well, it's more of an official engagement for Catherine, but for Meghan, more of an unofficial visit, like I say, to support her friend Serena. But I'm sure she has a really big love of tennis too. But it was really nice to see them out together solo without their husbands. And I think this is pretty much the first time that we have actually seen that. So please let me know your thoughts on that too. Let me see. Mrs. BSN OC09 says, hit the thumbs up, everyone. Yes, please do. If you're in the room, please just give it a thumbs up. It really helps YouTube to know that you like the video, and therefore it will show it to more people so more people can get to see. Darren says, you are so darn popular. Well, thank you so much. Shining Star says, nice brooch. I'm wearing this one today. It is the Queen's Star brooch, the Buckingham Palace Star brooch, because the Queen wore it this week. So I thought I would wear it too, and it is my replica brooch of the Queen's Star brooch. Book Princess says, please tell me your point of view about the Trump visit. Well, we are going to get on to the Trump visit. There's a lot of talk about that, so I'm going to leave it for a second, but we will get there, and I will talk to you about the Trump visit. Oh, by the way, I have some openings now. As always, okay, it's a big pile. These are my openings. Wow. Okay, so I've got this to open. I've got this package to open, and I've got this big box to open. Don't let me forget to open them, because I'm going to put them down, and when I get carried away and start talking, I will invariably forget them. So please let me know. Please let me remember to open them, and I'll open them periodically throughout the chat. As always, I've pre-opened the package just so I'm not struggling here, but I haven't taken a look inside. It will be a complete shock. They are items that are off my Amazon wish list, so they should be things that I know that I put on the list, but like always, I never know what you've chosen from it, and sometimes I even forget what I put on the list. So it will be a complete surprise, and I've held on to these without peeking. I've been very good. I haven't peeked for some of them for over a week. Well, since last Sunday anyway, so probably from Monday. I haven't peeked. I've been very, very good, so please don't let me forget. HJ London says, waiting for 50 more subs, and then I get my 60,000 subscribers, which will be amazing. So thank you to everyone if you have subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Just do it now. And then maybe I can get to 60,000 subscribers, which will be amazing. I didn't think I'd ever get to 100 subscribers, but there we go. And yes, Joan, it's the same brooch as Her Majesty. Ellen says, I'd like to extend a warm thank you to the Londoners for their response to Trump. It was inspirational. Well, like I say, we'll get on to the Trump visit in a little bit. Marie says, first time I catch your live chat, and you love it. Well, thank you so much. Every Saturday, 10 o'clock at GMT. Ken thinks both Duchesses look lovely, and I think so too. A lot of controversy, perhaps, about Meghan's trousers, the wide-legged, or rather the wide-bottomed trousers. Personally, I liked them. I thought they were quite her style. I did say many months ago that I thought that maybe the pantsuit, the trouser suit, as we say in the UK, would become her trademark. And, you know, there's a little nice extra quirky take on the trouser suit, is having these sort of wide bottoms, and I can see them becoming a fashion favorite, or rather a trend beginning with those. Love them or hate them, I think they will become a trend. Skodkov says, there was a big anti-Trump protest here in Edinburgh today. There was, and like I say, we will talk all about the Trump visit in probably its own little section in a little bit. Hello to Jamie. Angel says, Donald Trump came and visited the Queen, but he got in a way when she was watching. How rude can someone be to do that? We will talk about that in a bit. I'm saving all the Trump bits for in a moment, so bear with me, and we will talk about all that, because I have quite a lot to say about it. So we will talk. We'll get to that. Just wait a second. Shining Star says, Catherine is a patron of the All England Club. Yes, which is why she's there in a more of official capacity, and Meghan was there, I suppose, more to support her friend Serena. Eunice is watching from, and let me see if I can say this correctly, Tegucigalpa. I have no idea where that is. I am so sorry, but I hope I said that correct. And a big shout out to everyone where you are. Oh, it's in Honduras. Okay. And I probably haven't said that properly either. But hello, and thank you for watching my videos. Gerald says, I see one of the pins. Which one is it? You do see one of the pins. How very eagle-eyed. These are one of the wish list items, presents, I received last week. And it is, in fact, Queen Elizabeth I. And I chose Queen Elizabeth I because she was, in my eyes, I suppose, the biggest monarch who was the best diplomat. She was very diplomatic, and she played all of her foreign counterparts and anybody who was sent to be diplomatic with her. ambassadors and members of other royal families, kings and queens themselves. She played them all off brilliantly. And because obviously the Queen met Donald Trump, I thought, why not pay a little homage to Elizabeth I in that honour? Soil says, your brooch is lovely, thank you so much. MK Mitt says, why does Prince Harry go to his charity events without Meghan? Because they have an individual programme of solo events. Some of the events and engagements they will do together as joint engagements, and some they will have their own private solo programmes, such as all the royals have done. Diana and Charles used to have their own programmes of solo engagements. The Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh did. All the royals do. So sometimes you'll see them together on joint engagements, and other times they will be separate doing their own programme. And we will see much more of Meghan's own solo programme of engagements, I think probably come September, when they're all back to work following the summer holiday. So I think the Duchess will definitely step it up then, and we will see kind of which direction she's going in with her solo engagements. Hey, Shay London says, it was great to see Catherine and Meghan today. I hope they had fun and enjoyed being together. Rachel Quarrell says, I didn't like how Trump behaved around the Queen. We'll talk about that in a bit. Angel says, did you see Meghan's face after what Donald Trump has done? Well, Meghan didn't meet Donald Trump in this meeting. It was just the Queen. Just the Queen met him. So, but again, we'll get to that later. Ellen says, both Catherine and Meghan looked lovely and like girlfriends. So glad to see. Should put the rumours to rest. Well, any rumours that they are not friends, that they're not getting on, they hate each other, I will call fake news. It's just people trying to cause and stir trouble. It's totally fake news, and they most definitely get. In fact, I'm going to give them a double fake news fan flap. There we go. The fake news fan flap is out and flapping today. Any fake news, it will get flapped. But yes, it most certainly does put pay to those rumours that, you know, that things are bad between them. They are very friendly, and they always have been. And Catherine has been a huge supporter of Meghan all the way through Meghan's journey, from typical person to a member of the royal family. Shining Star says, I noticed a lot of people confused about why Trump only had tea with the Queen. Can you please explain to them why it wasn't a state visit? Okay. I think I'm going to have to tackle the Trump issue. So when Donald Trump was first president, when he first got elected, the UK government was very quick to extend a full state visit offer to the president, or rather an invitation, to which he accepted. But then later they kind of pulled back. They pulled back on it and reduced it to a working visit. Now, the reasons for this, we don't fully know, but what we do know is that usually a full state visit with all the pomp and circumstance usually only happens when a president is serving a second term. As far as I'm aware, I don't think it's been done for a first term before. So I think the UK government made a mistake, and we're jumping the gun a little bit. I think because of our environment of Brexit, leaving the European Union, I think we basically wanted, as a country, to kind of get in there and really make friends with President Trump, because we had a case during our Brexit elections our Brexit referendum, where we had Obama coming over trying to tell us that if we voted to leave the European Union and have our own sovereignty, that we would become back of the queue. And I think there was a little bit of schmoozing going on from the UK government towards Donald Trump. And of course, Trump was eager to accept. But then there was a talk in Parliament about that it wasn't perhaps the right thing to do, because typically it's a second term. So we kind of withdrew on it. And there was a lot of faff and faffle going on. And anyway, it was made a working visit. But it wasn't just any ordinary working visit. To kind of make up, I think, for the little bit of kerfuffle that went on, there was elements of a state visit. The pomp and circumstance with meeting Theresa May at Blenheim Palace, where, of course, Winston Churchill's birthplace, and we know that Donald Trump is a huge fan of Winston Churchill. He sat in Churchill's chair at Windsor Castle. Yes, it was a kind of semi-state visit, and also tea with the Queen. It wasn't, a formal carriage procession like what you would get in a normal state visit, but it was tea with the Queen. It was a meeting with the Queen. On a normal working visit, you don't necessarily get that. And also, not every US president has ever had a state visit. Not everyone does. I think the Queen has met 12 US presidents, I believe. I think Donald Trump was the 12th that she's met. But not everyone gets a full state visit. So that's why it was tea with the Queen. But it was a darn sight better than nothing than just a regular working visit. So he had a working visit with lots of added extras. But let's say Donald Trump gets to a second term. Well, I think there is great, hope for him that there will be a full state visit, which is when he will get the full pomps and ceremony, the arrival with the carriages, the state dinner, meeting lots of other members of the royal family. And, that may come if Donald Trump gets a second term. And I hope that's kind of answered that question. And yes, if you're enjoying this chat, please give it a big old thumbs up. Let me see. Valerie says, I loved both outfits of Catherine and Meghan, and it looks like Catherine has lost the rest of her baby weight. I think she has. I definitely think she has. And you love the Webby. What's that? Together at Wimbledon. They certainly looked very happy together at Wimbledon. Johan says, open one straight away. I think you're referring to the parcels. I will in a second. I will not forget. I will open one in a minute. Judith says, Donald Trump followed the Queen's lead respectfully and honestly. She led him and he made no moves but followed her leads. Shame on you guys. Jamie says, all I'm going to say is, wow, what a week. Yes, Jamie had a fantastic week because Jamie met Harry and Meghan when Harry and Meghan were in Dublin, and that's another topic of my conversation that I've got on my list. Jamie met Harry and Meghan. We'll get to that again in a second. There's so much to talk about tonight. It's amazing. HJ London says, we will get to 60,000 today. I hope we get to 60,000 subscribers. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Diana says, I didn't think the British people were at all welcoming to President Trump. They were rather rude, actually. There were protests. Ever since the mention of a state visit, there was mention on talk of protests. And believe me, the people protesting were not representative of 100% of the British people. They are people that generally, I think, like to protest about things. And these people weren't out generally protesting when we gave a state visit to, for example, to China's Xi Jinping. And, we have had controversial figures have state visits previously, and these people were not out. I think it's more about the man than the office, and I don't think it's terribly representative of the whole of the British population. When you look at the amount of people that were protesting compared to the amount of people in the whole country in general, I think you'll get a much clearer picture about the protests. But there were protests. There was, blimps in the shape of Donald Trump, people with placards saying rude things. All of these things happened. They were true. They happened. I chose not to cover them on this site because they weren't directly linked to the royal family. I covered as much as what I could with regards to meeting the Queen, tea at Windsor Castle and the arrivals and departures and all the rest of it, because the rest of it wasn't really relevant to this channel. But if you want to see the protests, if you want to look into that deeper, then you can Google it and it will be out there. I mean, in fact, I'm sure there will be videos on YouTube of the actual protests themselves. So if you want to go and see those things, then they are there for you to see. Hello to Diamond Dene, who has joined us. Candice Baveri says, I hope Meghan brings Oxford bags back in. I still have some. Well, she is kind of going towards more of the clutch, I think, with things. But I also like her bags too. Hello to M as well. Melody says, have you seen the Mary Queen of Scots movie trailer? I'm looking forward to seeing it. I did, with Margot Robbie, who's playing Mary Queen of Scots. I did, and I think it's something that I would like to see. I have seen lots of Mary and Elizabeth TV documentaries and fictional productions. I've seen lots, and I really would like to see this one. I think it's a very interesting dynamic from Mary's point of view, so I'm really looking forward to it. The trailer looked good as well. Joan E says, thank you so much for your wonderful Royals coverage this week. It was very busy. It was indeed. Nora says, what a jam-packed and fabulous Royal week it was. Thanks for all the tours, and it's a great week. It was, and I hope I found some really interesting points of view and perspectives to put to you guys on the channel. Shelley Pitts thinks the ladies always look stylish. Aviation Millie says, God save the Queen. Our purpose should be to be the best to serve Elizabeth. Misty says, this is the first time I've watched a live chat, and as of now, it might be the last time. I was raised to respect our sitting president. Okay, I'm not sure why. Have I disrespected Donald Trump? I don't think so, but let's carry on. Carolyn says, missed you these past weeks as we have been trying to survive a very hot summer. We've been trying to survive it here too, and in fact, I'm very, very hot now. Although we did have a little bit of rain yesterday, which was quite welcome. Dorothy says, Meghan has really worked hard since becoming a member of the royal family. She has settled in well. Mrs. VSN-CO9 says, the Duchess of Sussex is keeping to her own style and mixing it up, and not always in dresses and heels. Love it, especially the messy bun that keeps heads exploding. That messy bun certainly gets tongues wagging. Hello to Olivia, who has just joined us. Johan says, did you already share the big palace news about more great-grandchildren? I haven't heard that news. Has something happened while I've been on air? Let me know. Cindy says, I loved watching Elizabeth I, many documentaries, interesting woman. She's one of my favourite figures in history. HA London says, do I know anything new about Princess Eugenie's wedding? I did a video literally, I think it was Sunday, after last week, when in the chat people asked me if there was anything new, and there wasn't at the time of me saying it. Then immediately after I went off chat, there was an article about certain wedding details, and I made it. Nothing was confirmed in it. I did read the article in a video, so do go and check out that video. Nothing was confirmed, but it was basically kind of trying to pit Meghan and Eugenie against each other, which I wasn't a big fan of. There was nothing concrete. It was kind of saying that maybe certain celebrities will be involved, and that maybe Eugenie is trying to upstage Meghan, which I didn't really believe. So nothing concrete as of yet that we can put out there as officially confirmed. But do go and watch that video. It makes for an interesting read. Jamie says, very vocal people here tonight. I think that's because of the Trump visit. And as we say in the UK, when something is quite polarizing, when you either love something or you hate something, we have a phrase that this thing or person is like Marmite. If something is like Marmite, which is kind of like this spread, or Vegemite in Australia, I think it's called, that you put on things and people either love it or they hate it. And I think Donald Trump, or President Trump, is that figure. He's, a polarizing figure. People either love him or they hate him. I don't think there's much middle ground. And depending on which side of the fence you fall on, you're either going to like what you see or you're not. And that's just the way it is. And that's the truth. Wendy says, you make my Saturdays. I love your show. Thank you so much. Misty Fleetwood says, respect the office. However, this man disgraced you, and that is not just one person's opinion. Okay, I mean, like I said, polarizing. There are going to be lots of people's different views, and all views should be respected. Rachel says, I understand that summer has been very hot. Over here in Australia, it is winter, and I love it. It's been very hot this summer, but we shouldn't really moan because normally we have very bad summers. Lots of people loving the fake news fan flap. Killed says, I saw the video of your home garden tour in which you featured the Diana clematis. Your garden is looking lovely. Living in SoCal has been challenging because of our prolonged drought. Well, I hope you get some rain soon. I mean, we've had a kind of semi-drought, if you like, and but we had a good deal of rain yesterday, which, like I said, was very welcome. Dee despises Trump, but you think he appeared to be trying to be respectful of the Queen. Okay, now let's talk about that, because there was mention of several breaches of protocol. And let's start with the first one. Let's just address these things and kind of try and get to the truth, because I think there is a little bit of fake news and speculation about these issues. So the first one, the first criticism that's been put towards Trump is that he kept the Queen waiting. Well, he didn't keep the Queen waiting, because the official time of arrival was 5 o'clock. The Queen came out early. Her choice. It was said on our British news networks that the Queen was going to be informed when Donald Trump landed in the field. So she was obviously informed when he was landed, and she chose to come out. But the official time was 5 o'clock. What time? Let's cut to when Donald Trump's car, no, it wasn't the Beast. He didn't arrive in the Beast, actually, did he? When the car pulled in to Windsor Castle, what time was it? It was 5 o'clock. So actually, Trump was on time. The Queen was early. It was her choice to be early because she wanted to be prepared, wanted to be in position. It didn't seem like she minded. She was quite happy chatting away. So let's put that little protocol break to rest. Donald Trump was officially on time. Now, the second thing that people were saying is that when they were inspecting the troops, that one, Donald Trump got in the Queen's way and stepped in front of her, and two, that she had to kind of shoo him or usher him on. Now, she did, towards the last part of it, usher him on to his side, because in a traditional inspection of the guard, before the Duke of Edinburgh retired, it was he who used to do the inspection of the guard with the visiting head of state. So the Queen was doing this duty instead of the Duke of Edinburgh. Now, what's supposed to happen is, I think it's that the visitor inspects the left, and the Duke of Edinburgh, or the Queen in this case, inspects the right. So the guard is supposed to go with the visitor. Now, the guard didn't go with the visitor. So we had a situation where the Queen was just walking with Donald Trump and no guard. So when the Queen was doing all this, she was signaling to the guard to go to Donald Trump, or rather President Trump. So it looked like she was ushering on Donald, and she kind of wasn't. She was kind of ushering to the guard to step into place, which he didn't. Maybe he didn't think it was right to go in front of the Queen. I don't know. But anyway, the sort of second part of it, when she kind of did this movement towards Donald Trump, that was, I think, to him, to usher him to go to his side, because obviously, you know, he was getting confused because the entire situation was kind of confusing. So I don't think we can lay the blame on President Trump in this instance. I think there was a little bit of a mix-up, and I think it was more to do with the guard. And the Queen was actually trying to help. She was trying to kind of usher the guard through, but also indicate and usher Trump where to go, because he at that point was a little bit lost. I also think walking in front of the Queen, I don't think he meant to. I think the Queen had kind of stepped back a little bit. Donald Trump had carried on, didn't realize that he was ahead of her, and then kind of was like, well, where is she? Oh, she's behind. But then the Queen kind of popped her head around and carried on. And then from that point on, the inspection ran entirely smoothly. I think there was just a little bit of confusion. So in the video I put out, which was entitled "The Queen Ushers Donald Trump On," well, she was ushering him to kind of show him where to go, but it wasn't meant in a kind of disrespectful, oh, you know, he doesn't know what to do. She was actually trying to help him to go in the right direction. So she was trying to correct something that had gone wrong. And I think that is pretty much what happened. And if you look back at footage of when Ronald Reagan was here, everything went smoothly. And you can contrast and compare the two, and you will see exactly what I mean. Now, another breach of protocol, which people are kind of talking about, is that Melania and Donald didn't bow and curtsy to the Queen. Well, they don't have to. As head of state, even though the Queen is royal, as a visiting head of state, they do not have to bow and curtsy to the Queen. In terms of status, Donald Trump and the Queen as heads of state are both equal. And Melania obviously is not British born, so there is no requirement to bow or curtsy. If they chose to, if they wanted to, then they could. There's nothing stopping them, but they don't have to. So again, all these things, all these breaches of protocol, nothing really went wrong. There isn't really anything, there isn't any royal tea to spill. Everything was kind of fine. So if people are saying things, then it's all fake news, and it gets a big old fake news fan flap. I hope I've explained that to the best of my ability. It is fairly confusing, but that is what happened. So I hope you all kind of understand that. Now I'm going to do a little bit of skipping because I think I probably missed quite a lot of questions. So let's go down a few. In fact, I'm going to skip, I think, pretty much all the way to the bottom because I want to see what you're all saying about it. So let's go through. Let's see what you're all saying. Okay, Misty says, I'll admit I'm American and I really haven't a clue what royal protocol is. Heck, as far as I really know, jumping over the moon could be. Well, there we go. I think hopefully I've dispelled a few things that have been spoken about. Shelley Pitt says, thank you for that, Elliot. Diana says, thank you for being objective in your reporting of the Trump visit. I did try. I certainly didn't show any of the protests or anything like that. But Princess says, well done, true and respectful to everybody. Love you and your explanation. I think it's worth. I think you all understood it, so that's really, really good. I'm really happy that I explained it in an okay way. HJ London says, I think Donald Trump was confused but wanted to do the right thing. It was a difficult moment for both the Queen and President Trump. There was confusion, and that's basically what it was all about. MSNB 2012 says Trump supporters are a little touchy about his England trip. Dabita says, love the knowledge as regards Trump and the Queen meeting. Mrs. VSNCO9 says there should be some education prior to arriving as to what will happen and what is expected. There is usually an itinerary of what will happen. His people should have educated him. Perhaps they did. I think the problem, like I said before, was more with the guard than anyone else. Jane thinks is glad that I'm clearing up the whole confusion and love your coverage of everything. Jamie says, I hope my opinion helped you understand what will happen, and I'm glad you agree with me. I do. And in fact, it was Jamie that showed me the footage of the Ronald Reagan visit with his inspection of the guard, and it became a little bit more clearer as to what it was. On first look, it does look like the Queen is kind of ushering on Trump the whole time, but it's not. She does do one little kind of flick to him, but it's more of an indication. You could say it was a shoo, you could say it was an usher, but it's more of a, go over there, an indication to go over there and inspect that side, because I think at that point Donald Trump was completely confused as to what he should do and what was happening. So the Queen was definitely trying to help things. G Mark says, I love your explanation of the protocol issues. HA London says, thank you for your truthful and objective analysis. Trump has taken some unfair criticism about this. Tex says the Queen is amazing. Like Trump mentioned, she never embarrassed her country. Gerald says, open a present. I will do. I will. Lots of people saying they appreciate my explanation. I'm going to skip through some of those. By the way, if I skipped a comment of yours and it was really, really important and very pertinent, then please repeat it, because I did skip a load of comments just to get back to the bottom. Yes, I will open the present very soon. Lots of people saying thank you for the explanation. Okay, we will get to Ireland. We will get to the Duke and Duchess of Sussex in Ireland later, and I think Jamie will have a lot to say. So I'll read lots of Jamie's comments with regards to the Irish visit. So I'm going to start with this little package. So it feels soft, and knowing what I put on the list, I have an idea of what it might be. So I'm going to put my hand in, and oh, okay, I can see a paper. I'm going to take the paper out first and see if there's a note as to who it's from. No, just a slip. But let me see. Okay. Oh, look! It's a flag. It's a backdrop flag, and it's the Welsh flag. Wow. Okay, so I did add last week a load of flags because this backdrop is in fact a flag. And I wanted different backdrops for different occasions. So, for example, if there's something going on with Wales, I can put the Welsh flag up. So, it seems like a quality flag. In fact, I think it's pretty much similar to this one, except it's the Welsh flag. So I will definitely be using this whenever anything Welsh comes up. Now, I'm not going to open it because I don't want to get in a bit of a pickle with it, but whenever anything comes up, you will be seeing this behind me as a backdrop setting. Now, let me see if there's a note to say who it's from. There is no note. Look. So whoever you are, please make yourself known. If it was you who purchased the Welsh flag off the Amazon wishlist, the link is in the description in this video, then thank you so much, because it will really help with the videos, with having a different backdrop and an appropriate backdrop for a week when something has happened to do with Wales. So thank you so much. Do you want another one? I'm going to do this one, and I'll save the big one for later. So this is the other package. Aha. Okay, it's a book. I can tell it's a book. Now I'm going to look. Okay, there's a note to say who it's from. A gift note from Corliss McClendon. I hope I've said that correctly. Enjoy your gift from CMAC2. Thank you so much. Let's see what it is. Oh, it's The Real Diana by Lady Colin Campbell. Look. Okay, Lady Colin Campbell is a controversial royal writer in the UK. Some people agree with her work and some people don't. And I was very interested to read this book and to see what it was all about. So I think it's a new updated version of the book. And I really look forward to reading it. It's going to go to the top of my reading list. So this is The Real Diana by Lady Colin Campbell. And I can't wait to read it. So thank you so much to see Mac. And that will go straight on my reading list. So thank you so much. Let's go to some of the questions. Lots of people saying nice gift, really nice flag. Yes, we will talk about the christening. Oh, 19 more subscribers to go till I get 60,000. If you haven't subscribed, then please do. Jamie says, well, who would send a Welsh flag? Apart from a Welsh person, any here? I would imagine it is a Welsh person. If you're a Welsh person, let yourself be known. Jamie says, Lady Colin Campbell is another Marmite situation. Yes, she's another polarizing Marmite figure, a little bit like President Trump. Some people love her, some people hate her, but I haven't read any of her works, so I really want to see what all the fuss is about. The first Mrs. R says, pretty soon, Royal Reviewer will have the full complement of the UK flags. That is my aim. Then I will be able to have, I've got a Commonwealth flag, I've got the Royal Standard. I need an Irish flag, actually. I've got the Scottish flag. I've got so many, and obviously now I've got the Welsh one. So I'm building up my stock so that I've got different backdrops available for whatever the occasion. Rosemary Chaplet says, Marmite. Marmite is it's Vegemite in Australia. It's like, it's this, how would you describe Marmite? It's this, it's like a spread. It's like a dark treacly spread that's savoury, and you usually spread it on toast or something like that, or you might have it on crackers, and it's a taste that people either love or they hate. There's no middle ground, really. Book Princess says, I love the view of his mother looking down to her just baptized child, and we will talk about the christening very, very soon. B Walk says, just tuned in. I too agree protocol was just so confusing and the angle of the camera was not flattering. I assure you there was nothing done with intentional disrespect. I agree. I don't think Donald Trump intended to disrespect anyone. In fact, he didn't. He was on time. He didn't have to bow and curtsy. He was trying his best with the inspection. I think something went wrong with the guard. The Queen was trying her best to correct the situation and guide the situation, tell the guard what to do, and also direct Trump. So the Queen was doing basically a conductor's job in that situation, but eventually it sorted itself out and everything went without a hitch. MSNB 2012 says Lady Colin Campbell hated Diana and was very vocal about it while she was alive, which is why it's controversial. Since the princess's death, she has softened slightly, which is why I really want to read it, because I like to see all different sides, all different perspectives. Diana says, please do a book review when you finish the book. I will. Now, I haven't had much chance to read, probably over the past year. My reading has probably plummeted because I've been so busy. But I am due to have a burst of time. It's coming up to my summer holidays. So hopefully I'll get back on the reading train and I will have something to tell you all about once I have finished. Malcolm thinks it was great to see the Duchesses today together. They looked very beautiful. They did indeed. Jamie's wondering if the Queen likes Marmite. I wonder. Countess Bavaria loves Marmite. I bet you all want to try Marmite now. Jamie says, well, if you need an Irish flag, I have to be the one to get it. Next week's chat then. I need to add it to the list. But yes, I think you definitely have dibs on the Irish flag. B. Walker says, smash the like button. You were 114. What number is your smash? I don't know. What number is your smash? Linda says, much love and prayers to the UK relatives. Sonia says, no, we have both Marmite and Vegemite here in New Zealand. Oh, well, are they not the same? I always thought that Vegemite was an Australian version of Marmite. I don't know. Maybe they're the same product, but from different countries, from the UK and from Australia. I still have my cough, by the way. I'm still trying to get over it. In fact, I was quite ill in the week, but I'm feeling a tad better, but still a little bit throaty on the cough. Tex Sun says, also, the Queen is so blessed. She has lived a long life, is so gracious, and has done her duties with dignity. She has indeed, I agree. Robert Gray says, can you tell me why the actual christening ceremony was secret? I can't see why it should be. It's a private occasion. I think it's one of those where the royal family really take their religious beliefs very seriously and very privately. It's a little bit like, hearing mass. They might hear mass. The Queen, the Queen does her own prayers privately in a chapel wherever she is. She does the Sunday congregation in public, but it's not televised. It is a personal, private family occasion. We saw the arrivals, we saw the departures as much as we could. I tried to put that video out to you as best I could, but it is a private ceremony, not like a wedding. Or certainly not like a high-profile royal wedding. So we saw as much as what we were ever going to. Ken says, do I know when the Duchess of Sussex will attend her first date dinner? No, I don't, because we don't know. But I would imagine, knowing the thrust of the direction and speed of how she's being integrated into the royal family, it will most probably be the next one. And I can't quite recall when that date is, but I would imagine she'll be at the next one if she isn't on her own foreign tour or away engagement at that time. Rhonda says the 2-day trip that Harry and Meghan took to Ireland seemed extremely successful. It was indeed. Meghan looked fabulous at each event, as Harry looked very dapper. And okay, let's talk about the Irish visit now. So our very own Jamie had a very amazing time during the Irish visit because he met Meghan and Harry in person and spoke to them. He was so close he could even smell them. So I'll let Jamie comment, and of course I'll read out his comments. Leslie Lane Fenton says, I thought the Queen took one for the team. She was her gracious self and managed Trump very well. But I think she managed the whole situation well. If things go wrong, you know, the Queen knew what to do straight away, and she tried to put it right as best she could. Midnight Hazel says, little baby Louis is beautiful and so precious. Mariel Calder says, hello, you are looking very smart. I've just finished my porridge on this cold Queensland morning. It's very hot here. I wish it was a cold Queensland morning over here too. Jamie says, the Queen with Trump. I wonder, do I still have them dog training treats in my purse? Wait a minute there, Donald. The Queen was not trying to dog train Donald. Let me just put that straight. She did not, although she probably does have dog treats in her bag. Let's be fair. Misty Fleetwood says, so does the Queen have the option to retire? No, there is no official retirement mechanism. The Regency Council could invoke a regency, but only if certain criteria are met, which the Queen hasn't met yet. She's still of sound mind, her body isn't incapacitated, and she's not absent, so she's not overseas long term. So until any of those three criteria are met, there will not be a regency, and she has no indication of abdicating. So no, there is no effective retirement, although there is a slowing down and a more genteel passing on of responsibilities and duties onto other members or younger members of the royal family, which I think is what we will see a continuation of. Mrs. VSN09 says, is there a particular reason that Prince George and Louis's christenings were held at a different location than Princess Charlotte? Well, Prince Louis' christening was held in the Chapel Royal of St. James's Palace. And I didn't think Princess Charlotte's was different, is it? In fact, I'm going to go and check because I'm not entirely sure it was. Let's have a look. Princess Charlotte christening. Okay, let's see. Okay, I've just gone on to an article because I can't quite remember where she was christened, but I thought it was the same place. Oh no, she was christened in Norfolk. There we go. Perhaps it was just the time of the year. No, it was in July. Perhaps they were just up there at the time, and that's where they wanted to be. Let's not forget that they hadn't returned. I mean, since this September, they returned to London full time, and they haven't, as far as we're aware, been back to Anma a lot of the time. They may spend weekends there. With Prince George, when they just had George, they could be almost anywhere. And the Chapel Royal is a traditional place for certainly the heir to the throne or a future heir to the throne to be christened, baptized. With Princess Charlotte as the sort of second in line in that generation, in that family after George, there wasn't so much pressure for her to be in the Chapel Royal. So I think they just held it seems like, where they wanted, which was in Norfolk. With Louis, like I say, they're predominantly based now in London since September. So I think it was probably just more convenient to have it at the Chapel Royal in London. And I think that's pretty much where it was all coming from, just doing a little quick assessment of that. But I had completely forgotten that Charlotte was actually christened in Norfolk. There you go. Let's go back to the comments. China says, can you talk about what Princess Charlotte said to the press? It was adorable. Yes, she said, you're not coming. She made a joke saying, you're not coming. A little bit of a ha-ha to the press. But she is adorable, she is cute, and she always gives a little fab royal wave. I think she's certainly going to be a little cheeky, cute madam as she gets older. Lisa says, thanks always for a gracious live episode. You are very, very welcome. Rosemary Chaplet says, what was your thought on the national anthem being played? I thought it was interesting since it's national anthem from countries with different lyrics. Of course, I think it was the same composer, I do believe, but with different lyrics. They are very, very similar. It's not completely the same song, but the American national anthem is pretty much based on the English national anthem or the British national anthem, but it's changed. It is a slightly different tune. It is completely different lyrics, but I think they are both beautiful in their own right, and it seemed really appropriate for it to be played when it was. So I just loved it, and I thought both of them are just really, really beautiful and rousing and stirring as well. Vinny Blair says, Robert Gray, the family needs to keep some things personal. The children are not public property, and their milestones are family matters. It was a very family, personal time. B. Walker bought Marmite in the US, and it sat in your fridge for years unopened. You just couldn't. Sheila says, certain types of personalities and bedfellows with confusion. Jamie says, come along, Donald, tisk tisk. There you go, with reference to the dog treats. The first Mrs. R says, I've had both Vegemite and Marmite, and they tasted the same to me, but you're American, so do not know. I believe they were the same, but I haven't tasted Vegemite, so I cannot confirm nor deny. And I think a family photo will be released soon. B. Walker said, I didn't watch Wimbledon, just got home and learned Serena was defeated. I was really hoping she could pull it off after just giving birth within the year and as a wedding guest. I'm sure that Meghan was rooting for Serena too. The first Mrs. R says, it'll be interesting to see what tiara the Duchess of Sussex will wear at her first date dinner. I have a feeling it could be the same one that she wore at her wedding. She may have that tiara on long-term loan. She may debut a completely different one. We will have to wait and see. But I agree. I really want to know which one she'll wear. Malcolm Carson says, is journalist and writer Penny Jura pro Prince Charles? I have listened to her before and she didn't like Princess Diana. Sometimes it's very hard to know which side these people are coming from. On the one hand, they say positive comments. On the other, they may say some negative things. But usually what's picked up in the press and projected out is the negative things. So because I haven't read any of those books, I can't give a complete review or opinion on which way she's leaning or whether she's being completely fair and objective in what she says. I've heard lots of things that she said that are negative, but it would be interesting, again, a little bit like the Lady Colin Campbell book, to read it and make my own mind up and maybe do a review on that. People thinking Jamie meeting Harry and Meghan were really good and laughing that he was so close you could smell them. Sonia says Marmite is slightly stronger flavoured than Vegemite. There you go. Texan says the Queen always makes it right. I think she does too. Jamie says, yes, I could clean bed sheets, clean bed sheets and a hint of lavender. Who? Harry or Meghan? Jamie says, I was most shocked by how small Meghan's hands were. She's tiny, tiny little hands. First Mrs. R says, I bet Meghan smelled like sunshine and honey and Harry smelled like leather. Olivia says, you have independent mind and it's beautiful. Well, thank you so much. I do always try to see both sides before forming an opinion. Jamie says, Meghan's teeth are very white. Maybe they're veneers. Who knows? Book Princess says, you mentioned your holiday. Do you stop live chat for that time? No, I carry on unless I'm physically away doing something. No, I will be here. I have 6 weeks off throughout the summer, So I will be here still the same, live 10 o'clock GMT. And yes, it was Princess Charlotte Mary Magdalene Church. There you go. Missy Fleetwood says, so she will slowly pass her duties on to the Prince of Wales and the Dukes. Yes, she will. And also, you know, her children, Princess Anne, Meghan, Catherine, all the rest of them. Also, why is it Prince Andrew's girls why don't they do royal tours? Well, they are not officially working royals, but they have stepped up recently. I think the royal family are leaning on them a little bit more, which I think is the right thing to do, and I think we will see a continuation of this going into the future, with hopefully them becoming full-time working royals. That is something that I hope that will happen for those two. Olivia is congratulating Jamie for meeting Harry and Meghan. Nora says Diana was baptised there. She was indeed, because she was raised not too far away. In fact, not too far away at all. The Fifth Mizar says, Jamie, they call that tooth colour Hollywood white. Seriously, not kidding. Well, there she goes. She has Hollywood white teeth. Okay, we have 104 people to go, subscribers to go before I hit 60,000. Let's see if we can do it tonight during the chat. Nancy says, Charlotte was christened in Norfolk because as a Diana namesake, it was where Diana had been christened. She was indeed. Jojo says, Elliot, I must say that you're beautifully coordinated with the background flag. I am actually. This blue, and of course the bow tie, is very coordinated. And of course, my waistcoat. Arnold Sanders is jealous that Jamie met Harry and Meghan. I think we all slightly are. Jamie says, Meghan told the person beside me that her Irish visit was amazing. Amazing. Ain't That says, Elliot, has the Queen ever fallen down or had an accident in public? I don't think so. I don't think I ever remember any people recalling that she's tripped and fell. I think she's always been quite stable with her choice of footwear. So no, I don't believe she has, unless anybody can correct me. HJ London thinks Princess Charlotte is darn cute. She wanted to set that limit with the paparazzi. Yes, I think she definitely put them in her place. Mrs. BSN says, funny how quickly Charlotte is aware that no paparazzi are allowed. Well, I think George may have told her that too. Jamie says, I thanked Harry for speaking about mental health, and he said, no, not at all. It's amazing how something like that can grow so large and the effect it has on all of us. Some quite profound words from Harry. I think Jamie did quite well getting that out of Harry. You should have filmed it. Why didn't you film it? Did you get footage of meeting him? You really should. Kathy says, did Duchess Meghan actually drink the champagne? I don't know. I didn't see. Anne says, Princess Charlotte is very protective of her brothers. She is indeed. Walter Brown says, thank you for your very rational and balanced assessment of President Trump's visit. I try. Gerald says, she sipped the champagne. Well, there you go. A little sip is something. Maybe not pregnant. I think people are kind of hinting at pregnancy rumours, maybe. Texan says, Trump lacks diplomacy and other things as well. And you get a little shocked face. Jamie says, 60,000 subscribers. Have I? Has that happened? Has it really? The First Mizar says, the Star-Spangled Banner was taken from an old English drinking song. A lot of early American songs are because they knew that everyone knows a drinking song. Well, maybe the tune was. Maybe it was the tune. No, I haven't hit 60,000 yet. I think I've got about 100 to go. So keep going, people. Ingrid said, Meghan's outfits have been gorgeous. Is it true Catherine is expecting again? We don't know. There's been no official confirmation. I wouldn't have thought so. I'm going to call it as fake news. I think people are just speculating. I do think she probably will have baby number 4, but I don't think it will be yet. I think she'll wait possibly 2 years before she has baby number 4. I think she'll stick to form. Dawn thinks the guard didn't like Trump. The guard should have been doing his role, I think. Natalie Jean says, I'm surprised how negative the press continue to be with Meghan. Do you know why? The press people in the media in general just like to get views and clicks and people buying their papers and reading their magazines. And sometimes it's the most negative stuff that sells the most because it piques people's interest and people want to know why people are being negative. It all is this kind of spiraling circle. I just always try and put out what I know to be true. And if something is not true or ends up not being true, I will correct it. Or, I endeavour to always try and put out the truth. Other people are not so honest. Other news outlets don't really care what they put out there as long as they get views and clicks. That's just the way it is. Green Queen B says, the Queen said she was anointed in the church to rule and she will be Queen until her death. I guess she will not be like her uncle the King. No, I believe that she will remain Queen until the day that she dies. B. Walker says, yes, the Star Spangled Banner was written to the tune of a favourite tavern tune. However, the words were to record the fact the flag remained flying. Jamie says, just realised Trump called the Queen beautiful on the inside and out in Piers Morgan's interview. I haven't actually watched the Piers Morgan interview. But how does he know if the Queen's beautiful on the inside? Has he looked? Did he take a peek? I don't know. Oh my goodness. Tex Sun says, Harry is such a wonderful person and he has so much compassion for others, not fake. Shell Blake was at Windsor Castle in October in 2001 when the Queen was there and they played the US national anthem in tribute for 9/11. Such a wonderful and noble gesture. Well, the Queen, of course, is very big on symbolism with her outfits, what kind of brooch she wears, where she goes, songs that are played, photos that are put out, things that are seen behind her in backdrops. That of course, was a huge piece of symbolism, and I think a very noble gesture, as you said. Janet Fox says, Jamie, what a thrill to meet both Meghan and Harry. I was appalled at Trump walking in front of the Queen and his cheap-looking suit. Melania looked like a Madame Tussauds wax figure. I just cringed. Okay, the official photo that was released from inside, I did think it had a little bit of a look of waxworks. I think Melania and Donald both looked a little bit startled, and then the Queen was in the middle. It did look a little bit like a Madame Tussauds waxwork setup. I'm hoping for some more pictures to be released that maybe look a little bit more natural. I'm hoping for. But I think we spoke earlier about why Donald was in front of the Queen. It was a bit of a mishap, and the Queen was just trying to direct things back into order. But I don't think it was Donald Trump's fault that happened at all. B. Walker says, as the British had told the fort that bringing the flag down off the rampart would signal the US as surrendering to British rule. Joyce says the Star Spangled Banner was written by Francis Scott Key after a battle in which fort was all but destroyed, and at daybreak the only part still standing was the flagpole with the flag still flying. B. Walker says, but the Americans would not surrender. We wanted our freedom. So when you hear the words of our national anthem, it involves both nations of the UK and the US. CB says, who was Lady in Pink who greeted the Trumps at Windsor Castle? She was one of the Queen's ladies in waiting who was of American birth. So I think the Queen, to kind of welcome Trump, again, it's all about symbolism. She invited that lady in waiting to meet Trump, and they exchanged a few words, probably where the Queen mentioned that she was of American birth. Liz Ross says, I want to buy you a Scottish flag bow tie while the Queen is at Balmoral. What a brilliant idea! I wonder if they do one. I will have to try and add one to the list. That's a brilliant idea, actually. I would quite like a Scottish bow tie. Thank you for the idea. I will certainly look and see if there is one on Amazon. Jamie says he wasn't allowed to film, but it's on camera. Oh, well, there's lots of other people's footage of filming them. Maybe they did a little bit of a naughty quick film. Okay, Shell Blake said she just subscribed, so thank you so much. Okay, I think I've answered who the lady in pink was. HA London says, I agree. I seriously doubt Catherine is expecting child number 4 at this time. I think that is pure gossip. I think so too. I think she'll certainly wait a couple of years before having baby number 4. Kathy G says, if Duchess Kate has baby number 4, what does that mean for Prince Harry besides dropping to 7? It just means that he'll just drop one place. That's literally all it means. And everyone behind Harry will also drop a place. In fact, everyone in the entire line will drop a place. Okay, Vinnie Blair says, the thing of counting the cost of Meghan's clothes is so maddening. Well, it is. I can't believe that people have been adding up, and people have said that maybe it's about £1 million worth of clothes. No one knows the discount on her clothes. I don't think designers charge her full retail price. I think she does pay for her own clothes. But like I said last week or a few weeks ago, I doubt she very much pays the entire full price. She probably gets them very heavily discounted because, of course, if Meghan's seen wearing your brand, then you get a lot of free advertising and a lot of sales from it. So giving Meghan a heavy discount, I think, would be advantageous. Okay, Lady T945 says that Catherine will have 9 children like Queen Victoria. Do you think? Do you really think? I personally think she'll stop at 4. I think she'll try and equal the Queen. B. Walker says, I agree, Meghan's was a tiny sip. You take in so much more alcohol when using mouthwash. A tiny sip, if you are pregnant, perhaps isn't too bad. But who knows? She could be pregnant now. We are not going to know. Anything that's said really is just speculation. Of course, people are going to be looking for these tiny little details about, is she drinking alcohol? Is she taking a tiny sip? But I think a tiny, weeny sip could be an indicator. It might not be an indicator. Let's just hold on and see. Of course, with Catherine, we always know quite early on in her pregnancies if she is pregnant because she has the severe morning sickness, which means that she ends up in hospital. With Meghan, we may have to wait until the first trimester is over, which is of course the first 3 months. So we'll have to just wait and see. Okay, Jay Leon is just joining. Well, hello to you. Rhonda says, how long does the Duchess of Cambridge's maternity leave last? I think it will be now that she'll return properly in September. I don't think we'll see any more time taken. I think she'll be back to duties in September. Okay, Jamie says, I must say Trump's suit was very cheap looking and creased, and those pointed dirty shoes don't get me started. He brings a small army with him and no one can iron a suit. Oh my goodness, quite strong words from Jamie. I mean, maybe it got a little creased because, I don't know, do clothes get creased in helicopters? If you're strapped in, maybe clothes get a bit creased. I don't know. I have flown in a helicopter, but I haven't noticed my clothes being creased. OAM Faney says, I love the pins and the hair. Oh, thank you. I have my crown pin, which was a gift from the wish list. my Queen Elizabeth star brooch, and my Queen Elizabeth I badge. Because she was the Queen of Diplomacy, which is why I'm wearing her tonight. B. Walker says, how thoughtful to have the lady in waiting from the US to greet the president. That is just a thoughtful hosting gesture. Gosh, I adore the Queen. Thanks for the explanation, Royal Reviewer. You are very welcome. Susan Sack is here. Hello to you. Jay Leon says, what a busy few days have been. Loved everything. It's been an incredible week. So much going on. It's so hard to even catch your breath. There's been so much going on. Like I say, I've been a bit sick this week, so I'm still recovering now, I must admit. Candice says, over an hour into the chat and you have 224 watching. You have a well-deserved, very faithful following. Thank you so much. And you've just reminded me, an hour into the chat, I should probably drink something, especially as my throat has been bad. So I'm going to take a sip from my London-themed cup, which I'm sure you can see with all different London landmarks and figures on, with the traditional red post box and the Queen, Buckingham Palace, the Victoria Memorial. And it's still piping hot. Look, you can see the steam still coming off my thermal cup. It's a very good cup. You must remind me to drink, because I'm terrible for always forgetting to drink. I don't drink enough. Book Princess says, I must leave now. It's a pity. Have a good night. To me and all the others, God bless Her Majesty the Queen. Yes, God bless Her Majesty the Queen. And all who meet her. And if you haven't already, please hit the big thumbs up button, because it lets YouTube know that you're enjoying the videos, and that then it can tell more people about them. CB says, do you think Meghan has encountered cobblestones in heels before she came to the UK? She's very brave to wear such fine stilettos. I think it's personal choice if you choose to wear stilettos, what terrain you may face. You may face cobblestones. Let's wait and see until Meghan faces cobblestones. Barbara Cox says, I think it's cute how the Queen carries her handbag with her everywhere. Looks like even in the palace. Well, let's not forget, palaces are so big that if you forget something, to go to another room to get it could mean, you know, a 10-15 minute walk. So, of course, if the Queen is going downstairs for dinner or something like that, then she doesn't want to be popping up, back and everywhere, even though she has, you know, servants to do that. It's better to have everything with you in your handbag. So I think even if you're indoors, having your handbag with you saves a lot of time to have everything you may need at hand. It's a bit like a royal fanny pack. Jamie says, good Lord, 9 kids. The country might not be able to afford that much royals after Brexit. There you go. Nadine says, I think that he might have showed that what he thought of who he was meeting. Yes, Christine, I'm wearing Elizabeth I's pin because she was the Queen, in my eyes, of diplomacy with foreign figures. And I thought that was quite pertinent to wear because of the Trump visit this week. First Mrs. R says, if Meghan doesn't drink alcohol on the trip to Australia, we can make a good guess that she's on the nest. That would be a good indicator, I think. So let's all keep watching. T. French says, Meghan had the option to choose water or champagne, but she chose the champagne and took a sip. HJ London says, do I think anyone in the royal family is aware of my channel? I would love to think they do, because you do so much respectfully to report on them, their events and their history. I don't know. The simple answer is I don't know. I know that one of my viewers ages ago sent in a letter, and they had a reply from the press office at the palace saying that they were aware of certain channels, and that mine may be one of them. We had instances where we tried to predict, or rather play a little code game with the Queen a while ago, probably 6, 7, 8 months ago, where we would say, Your Majesty, if you're watching this, please wear this colour or this particular outfit. And Jamie was very, very good at saying a particularly random outfit that the Queen hasn't worn in a very long time. And sure enough, that next week, the Queen was wearing that outfit. So whether a royal was watching, whether somebody who works close was watching, who wanted to have a little bit of fun, I don't know. But there were certain instances which just could not be explained other than that somebody is watching. So maybe we could do that little guessing game again. Let's have a prediction. What should the Queen, or rather what outfit or colour do you think the Queen should wear for the coming week? Put your answers here. I will read them out and we will see if somebody is watching. Let's do our little experiment again. Texon says, maybe when Trump met the Queen, he will learn a thing or two about grace and diplomacy. Frazzled Halos hopes that Meghan will get pregnant soon. Gerald says, don't forget the other present. Okay, I will open the other package now. It's a heavy one. I don't actually know what's in it because I can't think what I put on my list that's heavy. So here is the box, lovely Amazon box, and I've pre-opened the flaps, but I haven't taken a peek inside. I have been very, very good. So I'm going to do this and see if you can kind of see it with me. So I'm going to hold it like this and do a little flap opening. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Bit of fluff. Let's get rid of the fluff. No, it's not fluff. It's pack. Okay, goodbye. Oh, there's a note. Okay, I'm gonna dive in. I'm gonna look. Note. Okay, read the note first. A gift note from Barbara Eckenfels. Barbara Eckenfels. Let's get that right. Enjoy your gift from Barbara E. Hi, Elliot from across the pond, US. Wasn't sure the 4 items will arrive in the same box or separate. Enjoy. I think they've arrived in the same box. There's 4. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Barbara. Okay, now I'm going to lift the flaps. Oh, wow. Okay. Let's start with this. What is this? Okay, I should know. I added them to the list. It is 40 tea bags. Queen Elizabeth II of Great Britain, English breakfast tea. Okay, I'm going to show you. So it's a little really cute tin with Queen Elizabeth on. Can you see? There's the lid. And it has tea bags in it. Okay, I am going to use one of these tea bags in my teacup next week. So I will tell you exactly what they taste like. So thank you so much, Barbara. In fact, I still have my loose royalties that I had from a previous gift, which I still am yet to make a video on. I haven't had the time. But like I say, during the 6 weeks, I will have so much more time to do all the videos that I've said I wanted to. In fact, I even have some tasting videos of things that I've received as well. So bear with me on that one. But wow. Oh, it's a DVD. Now, I saw this series on the TV when it was out. It's by the BBC. It's an official documentary of the Queen's palaces. Buckingham Palace, Windsor Castle, and the Palace of Holyrood House. And it's narrated and hosted by Fiona Bruce, who did a very good series. And like I say, when I watched it on the telly, it was really good. And now I have it on DVD. So thank you so, so much, Barbara. With an introduction by His Royal Highness, the Prince of Wales, exclusive to the DVD. Well, you can't get any more official than that. So thank you so much, Barbara. Okay, what do we have here? More notes. What's this? Okay, the same note as before. Okay, I see what they've done. They've put 4 notes because there's 4 items. So it's the same note over again, but I've got 4 of them. Okay. So, it's the books I wanted. Okay, this one is Tea Fit for a Queen. Recipes, drinks for afternoon tea. Introduction by Lucy Worsley. And it's by Historic Royal Palaces. If I just do that so you can see. Let to focus. Wow, in fact, let me read a little bit of what's in here, I suppose. Oh, there's pictures. Oh, wow, look. Orange scented currant scones. Wow, look. I'm just having a really quick look. Kensington Palace, a stroll through one of London's most famous parks, bringing you to the immaculately manicured lawns of Kensington Palace. So there's all different things from different palaces, I do believe. Henry VIII's kitchens, apple and spice cake. Maybe I could do a series of royal baking. Would you like to see some baking videos? That was one of the idea about why I wanted this book in the first place, because I had the idea jam pennies, no less. Wow. Parmesan and sun-dried tomato scones. Wow. Lots of royal fare. On another book, royal teas. I am going to have to host a royal tea party and film it. Royal teas, seasonal recipes from Buckingham Palace. Mark Flanagan, the royal chef to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, and Catherine Cuthbertson, royal pastry chef to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. So this is written by official people who know exactly what the Queen and royal family would have for their royal tea. So you can't get more accurate than this. Wow. There is no more quintessentially British tradition than afternoon tea. So this is what Trump would have had. And nowhere is that tradition taken more seriously than at Buckingham Palace, where 30,000 afternoon teas are served every year at the summer garden parties. Inspired by this British institution and following on from the success of the Royal Cookbook, Mark Flanagan, the royal chef, shares an insight into the royal kitchen's repertoire of tea time treats. Wow. Okay, I am going to be really interested in reading these and making some videos. So thank you, a huge thank you to Barbara. Thank you so much. I am really looking forward to getting stuck in and making some videos. Now I'm going to have to go straight to the comments. I'm going to scroll all the way down and see what people are saying. Let's have a look. Okay, people saying about what colour the Queen should wear. So let me have a look. Okay, dark green, some people are saying. Moon Mom says hot pink. M thinks green. Lavender. Scott Goff says red. Wendy says orange. Okay, burgundy, someone's saying. Okay, Rhonda says, I really like the tea tin. Jamie thinks he would like to see dark green and the Delhi carved emerald brooch, not seen since 2013. Okay, I'm going to go with Jamie on this one. So if we see the Queen wearing dark green and the Delhi carved emerald brooch, which has not been seen since 2013, then we know that someone at the palace is watching this chat. That is the Delhi carved emerald brooch. Angela Kelly, get onto it. Let's have a look. Texan thinks royal blue would look great on the Queen. Jamie says, Elliot, Christmas is every Saturday for you. It has been for many weeks. And I really do love opening these gifts because they are all things that I chose for the wish list, which I can use either as backdrops, as props, as things to do for the channel, video ideas. So thank you so much for all of your gifts and support for the channel. These are things which I can put back into the channel to hopefully make things that you guys will enjoy. So thank you so much. Rhonda says, Barbara, the box of gifts are awesome. First Mrs. R says, this is quite a box of fun. Diamond Janae says, nice gifts, thank you, Barbara. Tex Sun says, a family member sent me some English breakfast tea and it was the bomb. OAM Fanny says, why am I not allowed to make a single contribution? You are, but I had to miss a load of comments to get right to the bottom to this moment. So if you said anything that was really important, please retype it and I will read it out. Moon Mom says, would love to see another Hyacinth episode if you have time on your vacation. That is something that I've been putting off because I've just not had the time. but I really want to complete that whole series. So watch this space. Sue Larson says, yes, baking, please. Diana would like to see some baking. Jay Leon says, great idea, old royal recipes. Janet Fox says, I love sharing Elliot's Christmas Saturdays. Every week is Christmas. Kathy says, those are really nice gifts. Yes, do a royal tea party. Christine says, great gifts. Claire is speaking in a different language, so I'm going to try and read it. I don't know what it says. So, Elos comentan acertha de lo qui Hassan Hassan L'Oreal's Diamante. Are you talking about the Diamante royal brooch? And I think you're saying it looks good. Am I correct? I do not know. Bizarre says, have I seen the Royal Recipes TV series on the BBC? No, I haven't, but I would like to catch up on that one. Maybe it's on a DVD, maybe, or I have to have a look on the BBC player and see if it's there. Carol says, a video on tea would be lovely. That's one of my things on my list that I'd love to do. Susan Sachs says, yes, to do a baking show. Do I watch the Great British Bake? I watched the Great British Bake Off, yes, and it is one of my favourites. Maybe I could start a royal cooking channel. Who knows? Anne Holloway thinks the Queen should wear something summery. Julia thinks pink or teal, and Kelly thinks pretty in blue. Jay Leon says, I know how to make Princess Diana's favourite bread pudding. It's delicious. Maybe that's in there. It might even be in there. Barbara Cox likes coral. Liz Ross loves the tea party idea. Today you are making homemade clotted cream. Wow, I love homemade clotted cream. Carolina Lopez says she's a big fan of Princess Charlotte. G. Mark Verson says, what lovely gifts. I very much look forward to your first royal tea party. Moon Mom is not really a fan of Trump, but thought Melania was lovely in the yellow outfit. Okay, I'm going to skip a few. Let's go down. OAM Fanny says, Elliot, did you read me itching about the review sourcing from the Daily Mail? Is that the best news source in the UK? I think most of the UK tabloid newspapers are a little bit sensationalist. I don't think any are particularly really good to do reviews from. However, the Daily Mail, I think, are quite good to do reviews from because they often get things wrong, which is really, really good when you're trying to review something if there's something to review that's inaccurate. So yes, I would probably say they are quite good to review from that perspective. Other newspapers, again, if you go down the route of the Sun or the Mirror, are extremely sensationalist and, you know, often just do a load of waffle. The Daily Mail do try with their content, I think, but they do often get little details wrong, and they are, in my opinion, quite good to do a review from. And also they're quite quick on the mark for, you know, coming up with royal stories pretty much after they've just happened. So there you go. You know, I don't think, you know, it's like stick or twist. If I did other publications, you know, it might not be as good. There might not be as many things to review. But if you'd like to see different newspapers covered, then I could, and you'll see the difference, and you'll probably get to see why I prefer to do the Daily Mail. Susie says, the Queen is on all our Canadian money and we're part of the Commonwealth. You are indeed. Candice says, lovely chat. God bless and thank you so much. Night, night. Don't worry, if you miss anything, you can always watch on catch up. Anna says, hi, Elliot. New here. Am I the only visitor from Colombia in South America? I don't know. Do we have any South American Colombians here right now? Jamie says, and if anybody at the palace is watching and you don't want the Delhi brooch, then choose any other green brooches from the Cambridge emeralds. Her Majesty wears them too often, although emeralds are my favourite. Yes, the emeralds are really lovely. But let's go for the Delhi. Let's be really specific and say the Delhi, just to see if somebody is watching. Claire says, no, I'm telling her that you comment on the things the royals do daily. Midnight Hazel says, what's the difference between an afternoon tea and a cream tea? I don't think there is particularly much difference. I think it's just what you call them and when you have them. Of course, the Queen has her teas in the afternoon, probably round about 5 o'clock-ish. A cream tea is just any kind of scone or cake that has cream in it. But an afternoon tea often does have cream, but also could be savoury sandwiches and all the rest of it. But I'll learn more about it from those books. The Beast Hippie Gamer says, hello, I am also new to the channel. How often are you live? Every Saturday at 10 o'clock British time, which is GMT. Wendy is from Ontario. Susan says, yes to a royal cooking show. You can be the Paul Hollywood of royal cooking. Okay, Misty's saying, don't forget to drink. Okay, I will drink. I'm very terrible. I always forget to drink. And I do need to, especially with my sore throat. And it's still piping hot. That cup is really good. And it is actually from London as well. Oh, Downton Abbey is going to be, you reminded me, Downton Abbey is going to be made into a movie. And I love the TV series, so I can't wait to see the movie. Big thumbs up. I think we have 209 watching, or rather 195 at this precise moment. Jamie says, if I'm being precise, sage green foliage. Okay, and yes, I think Downton starts filming this year. I think it takes 10 weeks to film, I think someone said. Claire Stewart says, love you, keep up the good work. You're leaving now. Well, take care. It won't be long before I go myself too. I love when they wear tiaras too. Jamie says, I mean to say any other apart from the Cambridge Emeralds, she wears them too much. Anne Holloway says, yes, what is clotted cream? I hope it's more like Cool Whip, not buttermilk served on ice cream. Clotted cream is literally a really, really thick, calorific cream. Yeah, it's like the super clotted, really thick cream. It's hard to describe clotted cream, but it's super thick, and it is lovely on scones with jam. One of my favourites, actually. CB says, milk in the cup first or after? I always believe that the correct way, and I think I've seen this from some royal etiquette people as well, is that it should be added last. And the reason why it should be added last is because it's very hard to judge how strong or weak the cup is going to become if you add the milk first, because then you're limited on the tea that you put in because of how strong the tea is brewed. So unless you know exactly the precise amount of milk that you need, it's very hard to get it right. Whereas if you put the tea in first and you add a little bit of milk and stir it, if it's not right, you can add a little bit of more. But you can't ever take the milk away. So I believe the correct way is to add it second, especially if you're adding it perhaps for somebody else, because then, you know, you can see how much you're adding and you can ask them if they want it to be strong or weak or milky, as we say in the UK. So I believe the correct way is after. Diamond Jay says, Elliot, you bake? You said, yes, I do bake. I do like to bake. I'm not particularly keen on cooking in general, but I do bake when I have the time. Hello to Dawn, who has just joined us. Susie Q says, this is my first live chat, so excited. Can't wait for the Downton Abbey movie too. Midnight Hazel says, I wonder if Julian Fellows will be involved with the Downton movie. He is. He has co-written the script. Sandy can help translate various languages. You will be useful. Jamie says, I find it hilarious how we all like Downton Abbey too. We all have the very same interests. Well, I think if you like the royalty and monarchy upstairs, downstairs, then Downton Abbey plays into all of that perfectly. It's an aristocratic household. I think probably lots of people would like to be in an aristocratic situation. I know I certainly would. And loads of people so excited about Downton. Lady Buckingham says, hour and a half late. What did I miss? Lots. You missed loads. You really did. Midnight Hazel said, clotted cream is like sweet cream or whipping cream. It's slow baked on very low temperature for a long time. You can, but clotted cream is just, yeah, it's really hard to describe clotted cream. But if I do something with clotted cream, of course I will show it you and read what it says on the packet too. Jamie says, originally servants would do milk first because they would drink from the cheap pottery that would break with head. But upstairs, the expensive china could handle the heat. Yes, they would certainly have the cheaper china. And temperature control would be one issue. But I believe the correct way within most etiquette circles is milk second. Rhonda says, drink lots of fluids. I will. I'm definitely trying to drink lots of fluids. Diamond Danae is off, so good night to you. Let me drink some more fluids, in fact. Wow. How long has it been? And nearly an hour and 40 minutes. Let me check my list to see if I forgot anything, because I think we pretty much covered all of the basics. Oh yes, how could I forget? The RAF centenary and fly past that happened this week too. Amongst everything, we had a centenary, the RAF centenary, 100 years, and of course the whole family were out, and we had another opportunity to have a balcony fly past, and you know, basically a second Trooping the Colour balcony fly past. Meghan was there, seeming thoroughly to enjoy it, and what a spectacular fly past it was too. The weather was gorgeous, everybody was out, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Please, if you haven't, do go and watch those videos. Let me see. And I think I've covered everything else, so literally it is over to you guys. It won't be long before I'm going, so I'll take a few final comments or questions. And yes, I've just mentioned the RAF, Jamie. There you go. Texan says, I don't know, I was offered it, I just remembered it tasted a little different, maybe sweeter. The Beast Hippie says, this was nice, have a great evening all, until next Saturday, be well. M says, you loved the RAF dress. Are you talking about Meghan's dress? Jamie thinks that Kerrygold is the best butter. I like Country Life, but I do like real butter, like a slab of butter that you put in a proper butter dish. That is the best butter. Gerald is off. Good night to you. Okay, I think probably now would be a good time to end the chat. I think it's been what, nearly an hour and 40 minutes exactly. So I'm going to end here. I will be back next week, live o'clock at live o'clock. I will be back next week at 10 o'clock live for you guys. Now, I'm not going to do a fake news fan flap. This is a heat fan flap because I am really, really hot. Like I say, I'm still recovering from a little bit of illness. I'm needing to drink lots. I've got so many things I can do during my summer holidays. Thank you to everyone who's contributed to the Amazon wish list. I will try and add a few more things. The link is in the description of this video, so do go and check that out if you want to help support the channel. I also have a Patreon account, so if you want to help monthly, then please do go and check out my Patreon account, which is Royal Reviewer on Patreon. They have an app and a website, and I post different things on there if you are a member. Oh, by the way, if you are a patron of my Patreon, I haven't had many people tell me when their birthdays are, because I do like to send you a personalized handwritten birthday card. So if you are a member and you want me to send you one, then do tell me when your birthday is. I can't send one if I don't know when it is. If I've missed your birthday and you've been a Patreon member, then tell me and I will send a belated card, or just I'll send you a thank you card. So do let me know. I can't send you one unless I know. So from me in Shropshire for this week, goodbye, and I will see you next week.